Oh, don't think I'm in a very good mood today. It's not that I'm in a bad mood. It's that my dog Holly woke me up. Excuse me, gotta flatten out my lamp. My dog Holly woke me up at 4:30 this morning. She was whining. She doesn't often whine during the night, so I thought maybe she really needed to get outside and go to the bathroom and do her stuff. I don't think she did. I don't know, she might have some sort of tummy issue lately, and she's been kind of nibbling on grass. And usually that means she's not feeling as well as she should, and what have you. Hello, Harrison. But either way, she got me up at 4:30 in the morning. I took her out. Kind of hung out there for a while. I saw a car driving down the road, and I thought, wow, that's strange at 4:30 in the morning. Then a moment later, a guy I saw running down the road, and I thought, wow, he's dedicated to running. It's 4:30 in the morning. And I kind of wobbled on and laid back down in bed and laid there for a little bit. Started really relaxing at about just after 5. And almost drifted back off to sleep. Hello, Mortgage Zeus. Hello from Nigeria. Almost drifted back off to sleep. But in the back of my mind, I'm going, it's almost 5:30. Feels really good hopping on live at 5:30 and being consistent, even though I'm not very consistent because I've been alternating between TikTok and Instagram over the last week or so. Hello, RJ. But anyway, so I don't know if it was guilt or a sense of responsibility or somewhere a desire for some coffee or to start my day or because the birds were chirping or what my motivation was to get up. Probably my fear that I wouldn't drift back off to sleep. But either way, I got up, brewed my coffee, took Holly out again, and did a couple half-ass stretches. Sometimes the best you can do is half-ass. You should do half-ass. It's better to half-ass than no ass, is what I've always said. But anyway, good morning to you. Oh, it tasted good. My name is Ken Tracy, and this is Coffee with Ken. It is Friday morning. I think it's April 12th. And I know it is 5:33 a.m. Happy Friday. This is a show I've been doing for a while. It's a show about me talking, show about me sharing some feelings, kind of getting my day started, knocking the cobwebs off, doing a little stretching, doing a little scratching, doing a little fidgeting, doing a little bitching and moaning. For those that have been watching a while, you know it's not just a show about that. Oh, no, it's not. For those that have been watching a while, you know it is also a show about me sharing my love of coffee. And with that in mind, I got a nice hot cup of coffee, and I am so excited to take my first sip at this early hour here on Instagram. Excited to be here. Excited to have you. My hope is wherever you are and whatever you're doing, that you got a hot cup of coffee in front of you as well. Cheers to us. It's the Dunkin' Donuts French vanilla. I got up early to write a paper for college and saw Coffee with Ken going live and immediately needed a break. Well, I appreciate your dedication to the show, to the art that is Coffee with Ken. And I, too, understand. I mean, getting up early to write a paper, that would be hard for me. And it's been a while since I've had to study. Ken is 55 years old, but feels how old right now. I don't know how old I feel, RJ. But I can't even imagine waking early to write a paper. Although I did a lot of my best writing in my life early in the morning. That's true. But either way, I could see getting up early to cram for a test or to, I don't know, read over some facts one more time for an 8 o'clock test I have or something. But waking up, I was going to say, this is going to really date me, sitting down in front of a typewriter, chuck, 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 chuck. You kids today, you young whippersnappers, don't know what it's like. For high school graduation, I got a typewriter. Might have had one of those fancy delete buttons on it. But before that, the family typewriter, we had whiteout, of course, but we also had like a little piece of paper or something with white on one side, and you'd stick it back into the typewriter and you'd push the button again, whatever letter you push, and it would imprint a little bit of white over the whatever error you had. No wonder I got bad grades growing up. The technology I was using was so antiquated. It makes me wonder how some of the great writers, I don't know. I don't know. How did the Bible get printed? How did Moby Dick I can't, at this early hour, I can't even think of the great writers. Geoffrey Chaucer, Canterbury Tales. I wonder if he sat down at a typewriter, or if he had a word processor, if he had one of these fancy Mac computers. But RJ asked, Ken is 55 years old, but how old do I feel? It's interesting. I don't know how old I feel. Let me have another sip of coffee. Mentally, I feel the same as I ever did. Physically, I feel good, but you do get aches and pains as you age. I can't believe it. Again, I work out a lot. I work out 3 times a week on average, but the body doesn't mend as quickly, and you have sorenesses, and you think I am half the time I'm thinking I'm injured. But it's not injury, it's just old. And your body doesn't recover. RJ wants to know, how are the arms? He challenged me to do some curls, a curling competition the other day. And I don't know if I'm injured or sore, or I haven't determined if it's a good sore or a bad sore yet in my arm. But they're still sore. But I did work out yesterday and felt good to get back into the gym. And again, I think when you're not training for anything, I think it's nice because you can go to the gym, you can get a workout, you can just appreciate being there and doing your best and making some progress, even a tiny little bit. I think, I used to be a competitive runner and always want to run faster times and judge my training, and was it a good workout or wasn't it a good workout, or how did I feel? And I still do that a little bit, of course, but it's nice just going in and saying, hey, I'm here, I'm going to stretch, okay, I'm going to do some sit-ups, all right, I'm going to do a plank for a little while, I'm going to do some curls, I'm going to do some bench, I'm going to do some cardio, and not feeling all the pressure to achieve some great goal all the time is kind of nice. Wes Harmony said, good morning, how is Naperville? Naperville's good. I was up early in Naperville, but I wasn't alone. I was out at letting Holly out at 4:30 this morning. Somebody drove their car by, a neighbor, and some real go-getter ran by at 4:30 in the morning. And again, that is quite a go-getter. In front of me on my table, I have a bunch of little army men. Reminds me of 2 things. My childhood, when we used to have these little army men crawling around. But it also reminds me of the movie Toy Story, which I watched from time to time with my kids, my little babies. I have 2 little babies. Augie, who's going to be 3. And Eve, who's going to be 1.5 next week. And again, Toy Story's a really good movie. a really good movie. I mean, I guess we should know it's good. It was probably one of Pixar's first shows, and probably done huge at the box office and video sales, or however we rate movies these days. But it was a funny scene with these little army men in it, and how they went on a reconnaissance mission, find out, find out what sort of gifts the young boy was getting at his birthday party. Yeah. RJ said, have I ever seen Shrek? I don't think I've ever seen Shrek straight through, but I think it's pretty good as well. I think they're all pretty good. So let's have a little more coffee. What do I have for you today? Can I brag a little bit? And give a plug for one of my new favorite companies out there, and it's TurboTax. Since January 1, I've been kind of stressed, and tax time is always stressful. And I was a realtor for 17 years. And as a realtor, you have a lot of expenses. You don't pay taxes. I mean, you're supposed to pay taxes quarterly. I was always honestly living paycheck to paycheck to do it smart. And I'd always end up owing a lot at the end of the year, which isn't a good thing, and getting penalties for not paying my taxes quarterly and falling further behind. Always hoping to have a big year the following year to make up for it. And it's kind of an endless cycle. And one of the challenges about being a realtor, that you got to be on top of your game. You don't have somebody giving you a check every 2 weeks and taking taxes out of your check and sending child support off to your ex-wives. You got to plan for that all yourself. And, I'm good at a lot of things, but I'm not as organized maybe as you could be. And I'm more of a just dive in and charge forward and hope everything works out okay. And things usually work out okay, but sometimes they can be trouble. And again, I wasn't always good at keeping track of my expenses as well as I should, or what have you. And I was always terrified of tax time and figuring it out. And a year and a half ago, I left the real estate business. And last year, I had a fairly entry-level, hourly paying job at Super Target. It didn't make a heck of a lot of money, but I was still worried about the process. And I knew I wasn't going to go to an accountant and, pay a few $100 to do taxes when it felt like I only cleared a few $100 at the end of the year. And I don't even know if I cleared that. But anyway, I think somewhere in my life I'd used TurboTax before, and I think, obviously I've heard of it. I'm on Credit Karma, and they're all under the same corporate arm of Intuit, I believe is the company. And I did TurboTax yesterday, and it said your estimated time of completing your taxes will be 1 hour and 10 minutes. And I got it done in 15. I got it done in 15 minutes. And they say I'm going to get a refund. I'm not totally sure the government's going to be okay with sending me any money back. Might still owe them a little bit, but that's between you and me and the internet world. So West Harmony is asking, did I work at Target? I did, but I like to call it Super Target because it was a Super Target. And I think they dropped the Super Target brand, and they're all just trying to upgrade the regular Targets. But it was one of those big Targets with a deli and a big full grocery store and, a Starbucks coffee and all the bells and whistles. It was a nice store. Still probably one of my favorite stores to go to. I haven't gone back since September. That was my last day. I was frustrated that day. And I walked in and said, yeah, and decided I wasn't going to be there anymore. How is the customer service experience? Well, specifically, I'm not sure what you're talking about. I enjoyed the customer service aspect of my job. I enjoyed helping people find things because it was a big store. I mean, the grocery store itself was a big section. And I know the experience. I went to a Meijer the other day and I couldn't find the coffee aisle. And I'm, walking up and down looking for the coffee. And for some reason at this Meijer, they had the coffee next to the first refrigerated section. It wasn't near most of the dry goods. I think it was misplaced. But anyway, people would be walking up and down, and I was like, people looking at the sign, and I'd be like, Super Target employee, hello, can I help you find something? Or what is it that you're looking for? My name's Ken. And I really enjoyed that aspect. I enjoyed helping people find what they're looking for and mixing it up and talking to the customers. And really enjoyed that aspect of it a lot. It was very corporate feeling, so I don't think it was for me. I was very much an employee, and I'm not the best employee. I mean, I'm a hard worker and what have you. But I struggle with the curse of having big thoughts and big ideas and big dreams. And if you're the low man on a totem pole of a super mega corporation and you have all these big ideas and big dreams, you sometimes bump heads with those above you. So, I don't work at Target anymore. To have a little more coffee. But I did like the store a whole heck of a lot. And I even missed my 10% employee discount. Oh, so I don't know what I have for you today. Did I work anywhere in high school? Oh, I worked somewhere in high school. I worked a couple different places. My first official payroll job was at a restaurant called James Tavern. And I was a dishwasher. And there's nothing wrong with there's no job that's, but there's not much of a not more challenging. I don't know if challenging is the right word, but being a dishwasher, is kind of okay, but it's harder work and dirtier work and messier work than this. I was 15 at the time working on a work permit, and it was tough enough just kind of keeping up with the daily flow of the dishes as the dishes would come in. But let me tell you, it was a fairly busy restaurant, and at the end of the night, every pan, every pot, every dirty thing in the whole restaurant came crashing in on your dishwashing section. And it was like what went from a steady stream of plates and glasses and hot steam and wetness and smelliness became a crushing downfall of pots and pans and yuckiness all at once. And when you finally beat all that back, for safety reasons, there was these rubber mats on the bottom that had, obviously were, that you had to pick up off the ground, and they had all these holes in them so the sludge could fall through the holes and you could walk around and not slip on the floor, but those had to be picked up and shoved through the dishwasher as well. And you had to wrestle these rubber mats that were wet and smelly and yucky and run them through the dishwasher and clean up your area. And again, I was making $3.35 an hour in high school, and I know my parents would have to pick me up on a Sunday night at I don't know if it was 9:30 or 10:30 or 11 or whenever they had to pick me up. But I smelled and had to go to school the next day. And, it was a job, and it taught me things and what have you. It was good work experience. It looks great on a resume. Hello, CEO of Target. I've got big ideas. I think I should be VP of something and see my work experience. I was a dishwasher at James Tavern. Certainly that qualifies me for Vice President of Finance, doesn't it? Maybe that's why I didn't get moved up. No, the restaurant is not still there. The restaurant changed a couple times, and I'm not even sure the building's still there. It was in Downers Grove where I grew up. And my next job, I worked at a Pizza Hut when I turned 16, and I was a cook there and also washed dishes. But those were kind of the regular dish duty, not the overwhelming dishes I was required to do at my first job. And that was more of a, I don't know, a high school kid job where I worked with other kids that were high school. But James Tavern was a more serious restaurant with more adults working there, if that makes sense. The wait staff were more adults, and it just felt a little overmatched. But anyway, speaking of Downers Grove, I'm excited today. Although I looked at the weather report this morning at 4:30, I've got two older girls, that are running track and have a track meet tonight at my old high school. I went to Downers Grove North, outside of Chicago, and I didn't know where the meet was, but I know there's this big invite with some of the best teams in the state running tonight. And my older daughter's terrified because she's in the 2 mile against some of the very best runners in the state. And we were discussing strategy and how she's going to do and what splits she's going to run and what time she might run. And I don't know. But then I found out the meet was at my old high school. And I think that's going to be really neat. And this is going to date me as well. When I was a freshman in high school, we had a cinder track there. Which was the kind of track, and this is that they used to run on. Roger Bannister ran the mile, and it's kind of a dirt cinder surface that you don't want to trip and fall on, or you're gonna get some gravel in your legs. But it was okay, and now, like everything else, it's modernized, and they started replacing it during my high school career, and I don't think we ever ran on it when it was finished. But either way, it'll be neat to be back to the track. Wondering if any of my old coaches, I mean, again, I went to high school almost 40 years ago, but I know some of the old coaches are still going around, and some of my runner friends are still getting together with them from time to time. They probably weren't a heck of a lot older they were probably in their 20s when we were in our upper teens, so it'll just be good to watch my girls run, and my older one's doing the 2 mile and my younger one's doing the mile relay, and she's going to run the first leg, and just have so much fun. I just love watching track and cross country and runners and what have you. So I'm looking forward to that. RJ wants to know if I still have my Letterman's jacket. No, I do not. I don't know where it is. I don't know if it still exists. It's probably in, I don't know. My mom was loath to throw anything away, especially anything with sentimental value. My mom passed 4 or 5 years ago and had Alzheimer's for the previous 10. But if she was still around, I could ask her where it was, and she'd go, "Oh, that's in the box in the basement," or something, or in the closet, or in the garage, and she'd know, and she'd be excited to bring it out, and probably break out some pictures, and yeah. Pictures have changed a lot since I was a kid. My older daughter, Erin, she asked for baby pictures the other day, and she's 18, and digital cameras were around, obviously, but I was just getting I don't know when I got my first cell phone, but it was probably around then, and it might not have had a camera on it, and I certainly didn't get an iPhone till a few years later, and now we take pictures of every moment of our lives, and back then, I don't know what kind of camera I used when she was born, but I don't have many baby pictures of her, and I have more of when her younger sister was born, and now with 2 little babies, we got thousands of them. If they ever ask, "Hey, do you have any baby pictures for me?" I'll just say, "Oh, yeah." I don't know. Go to the cloud and get them all. They're all on the iCloud or whatever we're using today. Can't keep up with all these technologies, but I do fairly well. I do my best, and that's the best we can do. So I'm going to drink a little more coffee. Wearing my I Am Knuff shirt today. it's a good reminder that I am Knuff. And whatever your name is, you too are Knuff. And I joke about that. But honestly, I rarely wear a shirt that gets more compliments than this, because the Barbie movie, even though I didn't find it particularly entertaining, it did pretty well at the box office, and a lot of ladies liked it. A lot of girls liked it, and women liked it. And if you come across anyone that's, I don't know, between 15 and 30 or even older, probably a female, and you wear this shirt, which came from the Barbie movie, they're going to think you're pretty cool. Even if you're not so cool. And even if you're not so cool, you're still Knuff. Especially if your name is Ken. I still think they made Ken the bad guy in that movie. They did. They did. The Kens tried to take over the Barbie world. Or Barbie world or whatever it's called. I never had a Barbie doll. I don't think they were made for me. But I did like that they named the male lead Ken. I do beach. Morgan Shoes does beach. Yeah. They made Ken kind of a mimbo. For anyone that watched Seinfeld. And again, I don't know. I reflect on things from my younger years. I guess that's when else are we going to reflect on things? But there was a funny episode in Seinfeld where there was this guy that was good looking and talked about, I don't know, manly things, and Elaine was dating him. And instead of using the word bimbo, which is associated with women, Jerry said, he's a mimbo, like a man bimbo. The Ken character in Barbie was kind of a mimbo. Kind of just a hunk, but not a lot going on up between the ears, if you know what I'm saying. So, anyway, one more sip of coffee. Oh, it's Friday morning. I do beach. I hope you do beach. I hope you're feeling Knuff today. Hope you had a great night's sleep. I hope your dog didn't wake you up at 4:30 in the morning to go out and eat some grass and sniff around. But I hope your week's going well, and I hope your coffee is hot, and I hope you're feeling good, and I hope you're excited about this last work day of the week, and I hope you're looking forward to your weekend, and I hope you have something tonight like I do, like a track meet to cheer on my girls. I hope you got something that you're looking forward to tonight. Yeah. And again, I hope you're feeling good. And I want to thank you so much for joining. And I appreciate you guys for following along in my journey on this Friday morning. And I go live most mornings between 5:30 and 6, somewhere between TikTok and Instagram. And I'm on YouTube as well. And I hope you follow me on all of those social media platforms, because I have a lot of fun shooting these videos and cutting them into clips and shorts and reels and TikToks and posting them all over, and growing my audience, and hopefully making a difference. And hope you make a difference today, and hope you are feeling good. I hope you're loving yourself. I hope you are forgiving yourself. And as always, I hope to talk to you soon. Bye-bye.